This video is sponsored by Nakano Knives. More about them coming up shortly. Hello, hi everyone. Welcome back to Woo Can Cook. My name is Wesley, and this is a show where we are slowly cooking our way through all of the food from my childhood. Today we're diving back into our series dedicated to Japanese classics with a shot at a quick one-pot meal known as Oyakodon. For those unfamiliar, Oyakodon, or literally translated parent and child rice bowl, is comprised of slow-simmered chicken and eggs, then combined with onions and a light umami-forward dashi broth to create a quick, hearty, flavor-packed rice bowl for low-effort dinners. Those following along may recall a few months back we did a katsu donburi, which is assembled pretty similarly, though instead makes use of a leftover fried pork or chicken katsu cutlet and thus commonly made following the day after making chicken katsu. Our Oyakodon, however, relies a bit less on leftover parts and ingredients, making it an excellent pantry-friendly option for last-minute meals with minimal cooking time. Finally, an Oyakodon is iconically known for the rich, creamy texture provided by the slow-simmered egg, so for our version today, we'll be finishing ours with a raw egg yolk, giving us the perfect opportunity to dive into exactly what not to do when you separate your egg yolks, because I did this 3 times before getting it right. Okay, so let's get into it.
In my head, I stick it that I'm always dreamed. So what's the difference when the world burns down on its own and baby, can I be honest?
Okay, so diving right in, we're kicking things off here first with the veggies in our Oyakodon, which today will begin with 2 green onions separated by their whites and greens, then sliced up thinly. We're setting these whites aside to head into our slow simmer coming up, but reserving these thinly sliced greens for our final finishing garnish later on. Then next up, this is 1/2 of a medium white onion, which I'm removing the root and tip ends from, then slicing into strips. Now, if you want, you can absolutely just chop your onions like any normal human would. I've actually gotten more consistently sized results using this method of separating the layers before slicing though, and if you do your chopping a few layers at a time, it's not particularly more time consuming either, so choose accordingly, but in either case, remember to throw away the first layer though, which will be chewy and inedible. Next up are my eggs, which I'm starting off by separating our aforementioned egg yolk for garnish. Now, when you do this for yourselves, what you want to do is separate this yolk into an oiled bowl, not a dry one like this one, because you'll have one hell of a time getting it out later on. In any case, I'm adding 2 additional eggs to our reserved egg white, then seasoning this with kosher salt and whisking up until combined. Moving on to our sauce next. Now, an Oyakodon is iconically defined by the umami flavor derived from the use of 2 main ingredients, which are our dashi stock and a sweet and acidic Japanese rice wine known as mirin. We're going to pair this with a few additional baseline umami elements to bring this all to life, but also mostly doing our best to stay out of the way though. As with many Japanese recipes, the name of the game today is minimalism. So, up first, this is 4 tablespoons of soy sauce and a single tablespoon of sesame oil to start, followed by our 2 tablespoons of mirin as promised, and a single tablespoon of brown sugar to complement the malted sweetness of our mirin. Last up, now to be completely honest, I did intend to make a fresh dashi stock because it is dead simple to make, but I forgot to stock up on kombu today, so here we are using our powdered hondashi stuff instead. For your own attempts though, a dashi stock is essentially dried bonito or anchovy and a sea kelp known as kombu that has been simmered until a broth forms, and that's pretty much it. In any case, rounding this all out here finally is my chicken thigh, which I'm slicing into strips then setting aside with no marinade at all today, because we're going to get all of that tenderizing and flavor from our slow simmer instead, which I love. Moving on before we head over to the stove, now I want to take a moment and talk about this Nakano knife that I've been using all day today. Nakano builds high-quality Japanese knives with a focus on quality, design, and durability. Nakano's Santoku knife is made with high-quality carbon stainless steel, meaning that it will stay sharp over a long period of time. Now, this is a knife demonstration, so of course we're going to shred some paper and prove how absurdly sharp this knife is out of the box, but if I'm being totally honest, pretty much any knife is capable of doing this, provided that it's been properly sharpened. What I personally look more for in a nice knife is the way that it feels in my hand, how it's balanced, the ergonomics of the handle and tang, and so on. Probably the biggest point of contention for me in this department is the spine of the knife, which rubs against the palm of your hand as you chop. A well-crafted knife like this one will have taken the time to round out and shape the spine of the knife for comfort, whereas the cheaper knives that I've used will often have a razor-sharp spine that digs into the palm of your hand and causes blisters over time. For folks interested, Nakano has a holiday sale going on right now through December. Read more about Nakano in the description of this video or visit nakano-knives.com/woocancook and use the discount code woocancook to save 30% off of your total purchase. Okay, so back to our Oyakodon. Over on the stove, I've got my wok at a medium-low heat today. You can also use a simple frying pan too if you want. There's really no reason to use a wok here other than to prove that it is an extremely versatile piece of cookware. I'm starting off by combining a half cup of my dashi stock with our sauce mixture and letting this all come together in a gentle simmer. Then next, here's my onions and the whites of my green onions going in, which we're giving about a 5-minute head start to until those onions begin to look slightly translucent, then adding in our chicken. I'm also adding an additional half cup of water here to make sure everything is fully submerged, then letting this all simmer on medium-low heat for 10 to 15 minutes until our chicken is fully cooked and our onions are soft and tender. Finally, I've got my whisked eggs here in a pourable container so that we may gradually stream in our eggs while the heat from our stock gently begins to cook them. Once we've got nice egg curds beginning to form, I'm serving this all over rice to start. Then real quick, once again, this is why you need to oil that bowl before you deposit your egg yolks in them, or else they will absolutely break when you try and remove it. So one more time, a bit more gently, here's my egg yolk garnish, followed by some furikake and the greens of our green onions to finish, and we're ready to eat. Okay, so as you may have noticed, this dish is pretty dead simple to make, and in fact may even be the easiest thing that we've done on this channel. I don't know, maybe. Either way, if you happen to be one of those folks that have been putting off doing a Woo Can Cook recipe because wok cooking and or playing with fire is intimidating, this is a great one to try because this entire recipe can basically be summed up as throw everything into a pot and a meal will magically appear. More importantly though, I think our dashi stock is an absolutely key ingredient to deriving umami with minimal ingredients, since even the powdered hondashi is giving us some wonderful rich and savory qualities today. Then to pair with this, as is often the case with Japanese recipes, I definitely went out of my way to intentionally keep the ingredient count down to a minimum here, so that the brightness and sweetness of our mirin could come through nicely. Though I will say I was very tempted to include a little bit of oyster sauce, which I think would have given us some nice added richness without overwhelming things. In any case, if you're looking for a quick one-pot meal to throw together on a weird muggy Monday night when you really don't feel like cooking, this is a great place to start. Okay, so that's it everyone. I hope you enjoyed this and I hope you give this one a shot. For those who are new to the channel, this one is part of a larger series that's dedicated to Japanese classic dishes, so definitely check out that series next if you haven't yet because there's a lot of these. Finally, a special thanks to Nakano Knives for sponsoring this video. If you haven't yet, head over to nakano-knives.com/woocancook and check out their Mito series for some solid affordable chef's knives. As always, like, comment, subscribe, share, be nice interneters, and I'll see you soon. Bye.
I've got the time to think about who I want to be. Every morning when I wake up, the man I chose to be.